morning to those who were here yesterday, and good morning to the new people. We're here up in the Shetland Islands in an art gallery called Weaving Shed, which was developed by Jeff Jukes. Some of you know Jeff, for the artwork of his dear departed partner, Jeanette. And I'll just show you a little bit. Maybe it's a lovely space around here, and this is where we are. And you can see we're in the Shetland Islands, and that's the St. Magnus Bay out there. And 3 of my friends are joining us this morning, so I have real people to speak to. That seems to help, seeing as this is kind of my first Zoom thing. Anyway, I think some of you are new and some of you are coming back. So for those of you who are coming back, I will explain everything one more time. And each time is a little bit different, so maybe by the last one I'll have a good one. But I just want to welcome you, and yeah, I think, let's just start by being quiet for a minute so I can settle my own mind, figure out what I'm supposed to say. And I chose this particular set of exercises called they're called Hana Somatics, for a variety, 2 reasons mainly. And I chose them last year when Beth Halford, who was the SBC, wanted to develop some secular classes that would help everyone to have a more balanced, open, happy, compassionate life. And I thought to do this. And then we had COVID the pandemic came, and so it seems even more relevant now, because these particular exercises are not only to help just your body, but they re-educate your brain, and let me start again. When we become habituated, when there's insecurity and fear and all kinds of stresses in our lives, which we've all been going through here, particularly those people in isolation, we tend to our minds and our bodies tend to become habituated to those states of mind. And sometimes it's hard to shift out of that. And most of the people joining this group are very familiar with the concepts of gratitude and connectedness and compassion and empathy, and these types of mindsets that we know help us, and that when we generate them, it helps the rest of the world to also to connect to those states of mind, because we're all connected. And I was impressed when I was reading Brene Brown's book, when she did research, which is talking to ordinary people about how they are able to overcome feelings of isolation, loneliness, fear, anxiety, anger, hatred, which especially I think even people are dealing with all of these thoughts, and worry about their children or parents, and just living in the world today. The antidote that she found that people were saying that helped them was what I just spoke about, a feeling of being connected and compassion. And the biggest one was gratitude. So I think we'll start with just thinking about that. But the thing is that sometimes when we get so used to being, listening to the news and having to deal with our family situations and just all the things that have happened in the last few months, it's kind of more difficult to settle the mind and move into those more positive states, because what happens is our nervous system gets kind of stuck in the fight or flight, in what they talk about in biology. We have an autonomic nervous system, and there is the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. That's how our brain operates. And what happens is over time, with enough stress, it's very difficult to switch out of that sympathetic nervous system. And so these exercises do that. And so that's why I called it getting grounded, because sometimes we just need to go back to a very basic state of being where we naturally can open to our open-heartedness and our sense of connectivity. And so that's why I chose these exercises. And not only do they return us to that sort of more neutral, not only neutral, but that sense of healing and calm and nurturing and soothing. We all need soothing these days, and particularly people who are alone. It's very difficult to get that kind of soothing, I need a hug response when there's nobody around, And so this isn't the same as, being as being with lots of people, but it does help us feel connected to others, and they're soothing exercises, and so that's why they're not difficult, that I chose to share them. And secondly, they're also just very good foundation for anyone who wants to meditate. So because not only do they relax the mind, but muscles that have been chronically tense for years, when you do these exercises, they begin to release and go back into the way they were when you were born. And what happens over time is that with physical stress or physical injury or trauma or emotional trauma, we often hold that trauma in our bodies, and it changes the way we walk, it changes the way we hold our shoulders, the way we hold our back. And as we get older, that can lead to chronic pain. People end up going to a chiropractor, or you end up this or that or the other. And the thing about nanosomatics is that it heals you from the inside, so that we can take control of our own bodies to a certain degree, where we don't need outside cracking and moving or whatever. And I just find that for me, it just gives me a sense of ease when I walk. I'm not having to like stretch my back or my shoulders. I just naturally, my skeleton is just stands straight, and my muscles fall, and my hips are open. And you really notice when you walk the effect of these exercises and when you meditate. So that's kind of the introduction. And I'd just like to mention that there was one person who was having a bit of shoulder pain, and I hope that isn't a chronic injury or anything, but I always find, my friend Mary told me you put ice on those things and helps a lot, so you could try that. So let's just sit for a moment before we start. And you can start lying down. And let's think about setting an intention for the rest of this time we have together. We can imagine that we are surrounded by our family and friends. And we are supported through the love of our family and friends. And we can imagine that sense of connection extends beyond our circle of people that we feel close to, and extend that to all beings. knowing that everyone is going through what we're going through, and wishing them also to have a sense of um, ease and connectedness and open-heartedness and hope. And so, for me personally, I think that what I'd like to intend is for, and you can add however you would like to do it, but I would like to be a better listener, or more, be able to be with these, becoming more grounded. But then that enables me to listen more compassionately to people, to see all people as being worthy of my friendship and compassion, and to maintain a sense of ease so that those around me can also be at ease, and to keep an open lightheartedness, because these times can be quite heavy. So to combat that with just letting that all go and realizing that it's just a state of mind that we can shift to an open-hearted state of mind. And to cultivate a sense of presence and awareness so that um, I can notice more carefully when my emotions and my mind start to switch into that sympathetic, more panic state. And by becoming more familiar with this grounded state, that with awareness I can bring my mind back and remember that open-hearted ease of being that's available all the time if I just can familiarize myself with it by doing these exercises, by doing these meditations, even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning when I wake up. Each little bit makes us stronger and less able to be swayed by the winds of anxiety that are flowing all around the world today, and particularly for those people in the West Coast of the United States, where the fires are raging and the people suffering from hunger and homelessness, and that by remembering our interconnectedness, we can somehow bring some sense of ease and hope and to all beings. Because when we're in this more grounded, open state, we have the capacity to think clearly and be of more benefit. And that's what we need now, is a lot of really clear thinking people who make choices for the greater good rather than for their selfish states. And when we get caught in that sympathetic fight or flight, we become very, very self-centered. And so I think my intention is to, if we all begin to change that, then maybe it will have some effect in the bigger world. Yeah. So to begin, this is called Hanna, Hanna, Hanna Somatics. And it was developed by a man named Thomas Hanna, who was a student of Moshe Feldenkrais. If you're familiar with Feldenkrais' work, he brought Feldenkrais to the United States I think in the 60s. And these exercises are sort of his distillation of the best of Feldenkrais that you can do on a daily basis to develop awareness through movement and keep the body centered and healing traumas. So there's a couple of things you need to know, which is these aren't exercises where you actually stretch or get strength, although that comes by the way. But really, there's a term that they use now. It's called pandiculation. And what that means is the movements are comprised of three parts. The first one is you actually flex that muscle. So like I lift my arm up. Let's do this arm. You can see I lift this arm up. That's the first part. But then the second part is I would let it down very, very, very slowly. Because what that does is that it allows the brain to re-educate and move from a balanced state instead of from the habituated tension that might be there. So it slowly opens up the body to relax. And then at the end of the exercises, we have to stop and relax into a deeper relaxation state. And that allows the reintegration of the brain. And so I think those are the three bits. So you have to flex and let it go very slowly and then relax. And so what I'll do is we'll start lying down. I think I've talked more this morning. So we'll start lying down and I'll guide us through just a relaxation of the body. And then so that we have a sense of where we come back to after the end of the exercises. There are 9 exercises. And the other thing is it's not about, getting to the furthest extent. You don't need to lift your arm all the way up. You can just lift your arm. This is just an example. Just lift it up as far as is comfortable. It's not like you're trying to stretch it or pull it or move it, or you just want to engage that muscle. So we don't need to force anything. And so we'll start lying down. And some of you are probably asleep by now. Let's see, can you see me? I think, yeah, you can see me. That looks pretty good. Yeah. So I think many of you are familiar with yoga. So it's very much like the corpse pose. You just want to lie in a state of relaxing and feeling the body falling into the floor. Being supported by the ground, by the earth, connecting with the earth. We can connect with the sunshine, the waters that flow through the planet, all around the planet, and the air that we breathe, the water that flows through our veins, the bones, our earth. Just allowing them, letting yourself fall into the floor. Breathing naturally. And allow the breath to begin to soothe you. So as you breathe in, you just notice, be aware of the breath coming in. And feel how if we just tune into the breathing and relax a little bit, it becomes a very soothing experience. Feel your heels on the floor. Kind of notice if one feels gravity slightly different than the other. Maybe wiggle your toes and feel your feet. Be aware of your calves, ankles, your knees and your thighs. And just notice how one leg feels different from the other. Maybe one foot turns out more than the other. Maybe one feels a little bit longer than the other. And then feel your buttocks, your hip bones, your pelvis. Again, maybe one side feels gravity's pushing it down into the floor than the other side. Maybe one side feels a bit higher. Maybe one side feels like it's longer than the other, or just notice how it is. And maybe even just move your pelvis a little bit if you want to side, like making your legs go up and down. Maybe shake out your legs, roll your legs a little bit, wiggle your toes. You can take your ankles around in circles. Just let those legs relax and fall into the floor. Anywhere the breath going in and out. Kind of notice your low back. Is it touched? Does it touch? Is it arched? Again, are you slightly twisted? I know I'm a little bit twisted, a twisted person. And how is the back itself, The shoulder blades, is one higher than the other? Is one rotated more than the other? Just noticing how your body is. The tops of the shoulders. And how much of your shoulders are on the ground, or some of them curved. Is it curved forward? Is it curved back? If you lift up your chest, can you get more of your back on the floor? Opening up the chest. Breathe into the upper chest. And feeling the arms. Your arms are down at your side with the palms up, and feeling your fingers or your hands kind of tight. You might want to open your fingers and clench your fingers and open them. How are the wrists on the floor? Is one wrist bent more than the other? You can almost imagine that as you breathe in, you fill up your whole body, your whole chest cavity and your belly. And as you breathe out, you can imagine that breath goes all down your arms and legs, even out the crown of your head, out your eyes. Maybe even imagine that your body's hollow. Even imagine maybe that it's full of light. But only if that comes naturally. You don't want to try or strive in any of these exercises. It all should be done in a state of ease and soothing activity. What about our ears? Across my neck, the back of my head. Is my chin kind of up, down? Kind of make circles with your chin and sort of find a relaxing place for the neck. Notice your cheeks, eyebrows, eye sockets. Just allow them to open, relax. Crown of the head, back of the head. Maybe open your mouth, move your jaw from side to side, keep the jaw open. You don't need to touch our teeth. There's nothing in these exercises about keeping the tongue on the roof of the mouth. So notice our tongue and our jaw and our mouth, our teeth. Oops. Let that relax. The front of the throat. We spend a lot of time talking about letting that all go, opening the throat. And now we can just listen to our breathing. Bringing our attention inside the body. Notice our inhale. Do we first inhale with our upper chest, or do we inhale into our belly first? Or do we only inhale in our chest and not the belly at all? Or vice versa. There's no right or wrong. Just noticing how we breathe. Maybe expand our breathing a little bit, take more breath than usual. Fill up the whole chest. And just feel the body letting go as we exhale and fall deeper into the floor. Sometimes I like to think that as I breathe in, my breath is kind of sucking my mental thinking, kind of sucks it from my brain, sucks my awareness from in my head where there's thoughts, down into my belly and my heart, where there's just space and a sense of connectivity and love. It's just there naturally. When we allow ourselves to be present within. So as we breathe in, we can feel the breath bringing our experience of self into the heart, into the belly. And as we exhale, we just let go, and we can also imagine that breath going down our legs and arms, so that our sense of self is this whole body centered in our heart. So we could spend a whole hour just doing this, because it's also very beneficial to find this really nice, relaxed state. It's helpful when we're doing this sometimes to put a pillow under our knees, or maybe a long pillow down the center of the back that opens up the chest. And if we had more time, we'd demonstrate that, but we better get on with the exercises. So to start the Hana Somatics, with our intention to heal ourselves, become more present and open and loving so we can heal others. We're going to, we take the soles of our feet and place them with bent knees at the bottom of our hips. Not too, just what's comfortable. You can take a look at the screen if you need to. But I think it's a familiar position to most of us. Just our knees are up, our feet are flat on the floor, hip width apart, just a few inches from our buttocks. And so the very first one is just moving the pelvis very slowly. So what we do is we rock the pelvis forward, which means we're going to push the low back into the floor as the pelvic bone tips up towards the ceiling. You just rock it forward and slowly back, so that then as it goes back, you actually arch your back, so that the low back comes further off the floor. And we're just going to do this slowly 5 times. And if you want to coordinate with your breath by breathing in as you go up and breathing out as you go back, you can. But I don't think it's part of the exercise actually to have to coordinate with the breathing. Just breathe naturally. And if that comes naturally, then go ahead and do that. So we're just pushing the pelvis into the floor and then bringing the tailbone back so that we arch our back. And all these exercises are done very soft, soothing, feeling from the inside. And it's very important that we keep the brain aware, feeling and moving with the exercise and not distracted, because that's what heals the relationship between the brain and the muscles. Because oftentimes when we're traumatized, either emotionally or physically, we no longer consciously connect with those muscles, and they just act automatically, often in that trauma, the held muscular tension of the trauma. And so by paying attention as we move with awareness, the brain reconnects with those lost connections, and we can move with greater freedom, and emotional freedom comes as well. So I've lost track. Let's just do it a few more times. And then we just let the feet relax down and go back to your inner breath, breathing in your inner smile, relaxation. Take a big breath if you want, just a few breaths to allow the brain to integrate with the skeletal muscular system. So then for number 2, we put our feet back in the same position, and we're going to do the same movement with the hips. This time we add the neck and head. So we're going to take our 2 hands and interlace the fingers together and put them under the skull, right at the base of the head, the biggest fat part of your head, and just allow the elbows to fall outward as far as they will naturally. There's no pushing or stretching here. And then what we do is, as the pelvis rocks forward, that means as the low back gets pushed into the floor, with our hands, we're going to lift up the head. So not using the neck muscles. We lift up the head as the pelvis goes up, and we look down towards our knees and stretch up the head. And then as the pelvis starts to go back, then we lower the head down very slowly. So if you just could be an exhale. And then as the pelvis rocks back the other direction, we're also going to, as we arch the back, we arch the neck. So the nose goes up towards the ceiling. We look up towards the ceiling as we arch the back. That's inhale. And then we can exhale and go forward one more time. So the low back gets pushed in as we slowly move and lift up the neck and look down towards our feet. And so we push up the pelvis, pull up the head, and when we come to the fullest extent we feel, then we slowly, you kind of extend the neck as it goes down. You're resting it down slowly, slowly, slowly. And slowly moving back so that the pelvis and the neck are moving simultaneously. And then as the pelvis begins to rock back, your nose goes up towards the ceiling. Take a breath. Exhale and go forward one more time. Notice we're doing this very slow. Just do it 2 more times on your own. And just allow yourself to feel the soft, soothing nature of the exercise as we pay attention to the whole body. And when you finish, you just bring your arms back down to your side, palms up, legs stretched out, and just completely, once again, just relax. Letting the breath soothe you from the inside out. The next one, we turn over on our stomachs. I'm just moving because I think it's easier to see on the Zoom, but no one else has to move. So we're going to start by taking the right palm and putting it under our right cheek. And so you look towards the left, and your elbows at a right angle to your body. And your feet are laying out straight, and your left hand is on the left side of the body. What we're going to do is we're going to straighten out the left hand and the left arm and the left leg. So they're slightly stretched, but not too much. And as we lift the leg and the arm up all together one length, not bending the knees, not bending the elbow, we're also going to lift the head up again, just like we did before, letting the hand lift the head. So it goes like this. So you lift up with the elbow and the whole hand comes up, lifts up the head, and lifts up the leg and the hand. And then when you come up to as far as you want to go, you just come down very slowly and relax. And pause in between for a minute. And one more time. So you can inhale up if you want. And exhale down. Relax. Up. And down. and up and down. As much as you can, let the hand lift the head, not the head lift the head, okay? Down. And then just relax. However you want. And then we change sides. So you look now to the right, and your left elbow's right angles, and you're putting your left cheek on your left hand, and the right leg is stretched out in the right hand. So now we're going to do it on the other side. So lifting the head up and the arm and the leg up and down. Up and down. At your own pace. Just move slowly with awareness. One more time. And then turn over on your back and relax again. Just feel your back on the floor. Maybe it's changed a little bit from when we first started. Okay, so I always kind of go back to that state where I feel like my breath has sucked my brain into my heart. And I just feel that space inside my chest. It kind of radiates out from the inside, down my arms, down my legs, out the head, out into the universe. That radiant breath of interconnectedness and love and compassion. So nourishing. Just allow ourselves to feel our basic nature. We're born this way. So it's more like a coming home when we relax like this. And these exercises help us to return to that state by recalibrating all the habits that we've developed throughout all the stresses of our lives. So wonderful. Okay, next one. We're going to take let's start with the right side. We'll take the right hand and put it under, just like we did before. We just take one hand now and put it under at the back of the head, right under the the main part of the skull. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to, again, use the hand to lift the head. And as we lift the head, we're going to lift the left knee. The left foot's going to come off the ground, and the knee is going to come towards the chest. And as that happens, we grab the side of the knee with the hand. And as we lift the head, we're going to twist the upper body as if we're going to touch the elbow to the knee. Of course, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. And then just slowly back down again. And when you need to let go, and the hand naturally lets go, and you go back down. You always keep the hand on the head. You keep that, but the rest you let go. Take a little breath, and then inhale up, and twist around, and then slowly back down again. Again, letting the weight of the hand, there's a slight bit of resistance as the hand kind of holds the head as it goes down. And up. And down. Just let you go at your own pace. Slower is always better. And then relax. I noticed on this one, I was inhaling as I was on the floor and exhaling when I went up. So now I do the other side. So the left hand goes under the head. And as we lift the head, the knee comes up. You can do these exercises with your eyes closed or open. I don't think it makes any difference. And then whenever you finish, just relax again. Just listening to the breath. Then for the next one, again, we bring the soles of the feet up, bending the knees up by the hips. I think this is probably familiar to most people. We extend our arms out like a T, straight out to the side. And with this one, which is also very soothing, we're just going to rotate the knees from side to side. So you can take the knee, both knees go together over to the right side as you look to the left, and you turn that left palm over so that the palm is on the floor. And then you just come back and go around to the other side and just shift so that as the legs go to the left, the head goes to the right, and the palm rotates down to the floor. And you just go as far as you want, as slow as you want, feeling the soothing nature of the slow movement. And you don't really need to pause too much at each side. You just keep the movement going back and forth, a bit like windshield wipers. So we do it 5 times. And feel the massage also that's on the hips, the hip bones, and those piriformis muscles and the glute muscles. It's sort of a nice little massage. If you want, you can extend your hip out when you get to the other end, if that feels good. So pushing your hips out gives you a bit more of a stretch. It's not necessary. We'll do it one more time. And then just slowly again go back to our ground state. And remember to keep the mouth, the jaw, the tongue relaxed. It's amazing how when we start to do something, we tense up our face. Tense the jaw, tense the tongue. As soon as the thought comes, I'm doing something, we tend to tense somewhere in our bodies, maybe our shoulders or somewhere. So we can take this time moving slowly to notice that and let it go. So the next one is rather interesting. It works on the oblique muscles. And basically, I mean, there are many Feldenkrais muscle exercises, but what these are about is helping us to stand so that our skeleton is in its natural state and that any kind of tension in the front or the back of the body or the side is gone. So we have to flex all the muscles it takes to stand up. So the next one, we turn on our right side, and the right hand is going to be extended out in front of you. And we're going to take the left knee and put it at a right angle to the floor. So it's like an L shape across the body, like we were before, across the body. And then the foot is extended out, just so that if you look down, you can see the top of your foot. And you try to keep your head straight, not farther back. Keep your head straight. So you line like this. It's kind of a funny position. Then you take your left hand and you reach over your ear and you put your fingers on the right ear. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift up our head like we've done before, but this time we're lifting it to the side. So we lift up our head to the side, and as we lift up our head, we're going to lift up the foot. The knee stays on the ground. And you just look down at that foot, and this activates what they're called the oblique muscles. And then we just let the same thing, just let everything down slowly. So again, we just raise up that foot, look down at it, and then down. Just do your own pace, up and down. Just pause for a moment. We can turn on to the other side. So we're going down on the left side. The left hand straight out in front of you, your feet stretched down, your head on the floor, and then we take the right foot, put it at right angles. So you can look down and see that right leg, then you reach over with your right hand and grab your head and lift your head up as you lift the leg off the ground, keeping the knee on the floor and down. For me, I kind of naturally inhale up and exhale down. And then we just roll over on our backs and relax again. Maybe notice if how your body touches the floor is a little different than when you've done before. Maybe your hips are slightly or your shoulder, but it doesn't matter. And then we have a series of 3 that go on the legs. I think that's my phone. Okay. Let's see, can you still see me? Okay. So with this one, let's start with the right. You know, you can start with left or right. It doesn't matter. I tend to start with the right because I'm left-handed. So I start with my undominant side, but so you can start anyway, but we'll just do it this way. So you're going to take your right foot and lift up the sole of the foot and put it on the inside of the left thigh. Like that. It's very simple. This is really easy. And then you just slide your foot down. And you do that 5 times. Then we're going to go the opposite direction. So the right foot goes to the outside and the knee falls in. And then you slide it down. On the left side, you're just going to put up on the inside and slide it down. Just keep going. Then bring your foot on the outside, the knee falls in, slide it down. We do both together. So the soles of the feet face each other. You bring up both legs up. Then you turn them around to go down. pause for a moment. And then the final one is both legs go together in parallel from side to side. So it's a bit like skiing. So the movement just starts from the knees really. So you bend the knees over to one side and then down. And then take both knees over to the other side. It helps. You can put your arms out to the side. It helps when you do it that way. And you can also look from side to side if you want. One more. And then we go into our resting phase. And then we can roll over on one side and then push ourselves up to a sitting position. And we sit with our right foot brought in close to the groin, and the left leg is around back the other side. Maybe you can see me sitting like this. Yeah. Much. Okay. And for this one, it's a twisting. It twists the spine. This is kind of interesting one. So we start by taking the left hand up in front of our face like this with the elbow parallel to the floor. And we put the right hand just down the ground on our hips. And we're just going to turn around and twist the body. The movement starts at this hip. So you push that hip forward and twist around. You look back as far as you can around to the back and then come back to the front. We just do this 5 times. And you can push that hip as forward and extend, twist your body around as far as you can go comfortably. It's not, we're not trying to, extend or anything. Just go to where it's a comfortable limit. Keeping the jaw and the tongue and the face relaxed. Okay, I think that's 5. Maybe one more. And then this time we go, the body goes around, but the head turns the opposite direction. So the body turns to the right and the head looks to the left. And then when we come back, the head looks to the right as the body comes back. So that the neck is doing the opposite. Neck and head are doing the opposite to the body. You can take your neck around, look around behind you. You look as far as you can to the left and as far as you can to the right. Without pushing it, It's not about stretching. One more time. And then put the hand down and twist around, and you can put the left hand on the right knee. And so you twist, not twist it as far, but just twist around and look at the opposite direction. And this time, the head will go up, the chin goes up towards the ceiling as the eyes look down towards the floor. And the chin comes back down to the chest while the eyes look up to the ceiling. So the head and the eyes are going in opposite directions. It's very interesting. So when you come down, your chin goes all the way down, your eyes go all the way up. And then just come back to the front. Okay, then there's one more. So we're going to twist around again. And this time we're going to take the left hand and put it over the head so it's touching the right ear. So the left hand is touching the right ear. And without really engaging our neck muscles, we're going to use the hand to pull the left ear over to its shoulder, that shoulder. And then we're going to take the hand to the other side and push it back so that the ear goes to the neck, to that shoulder. We do this back and forth. Slowly. Just letting the eyes relax. Back and forth. And when you're finished, you just drop your hands and come back to the front. Just pause for a second. Good. Let me do the other side. So this time we have the right hand up, the left hand goes around. The first thing, go back. Sorry, I forgot something. Go back to the other side. The last thing you do is you do what we did at the beginning, and you twist all the way around. And you notice you can twist way more than at the beginning. At least most people do. Don't feel bad if you don't. But did you notice you twist more?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, can't forget that part. Okay, so now we're starting the other side. So you can see how your range of motion then is increased by these simple exercises. So the first one is starting movement of the hip. You just push that hip forward and let the whole body go around. You just see how far you go the first time. And then come back to the front. Just do this 5 times. Okay. The next one is when the body goes one direction, the head goes the other. So the body goes to the left and the head looks to the right. And the head comes back and the body comes back and the head looks to the left. Then pause. Now we just twist around. So you can, if you want, you can put your right hand on your left leg. And you just look around. And this is the one where as the chin goes down, the eyes go up. And as the chin goes up, the eyes go down. back to the front. And then this is the one with the head. So we turn ourselves around. You take your right hand and put it on your left ear, and you're going to push the head to the right so that the ear is going down to the shoulder, and then you take your hand and push it the other direction. And then we come back to the front. Oh, look, there's some people out there. Then, then we twist all the way around and look back. And come back. And just lie down again. Just rest. Resting is really underrated in our culture. That's great. And then there's just one more to go. And it's a repeat. So we bring the soles of our feet up by our hips again, knees bent. And it's the one where we can take our right hand and put it under our head, and we twist. We're going to lift the head with the hand as the knee comes towards the chest, and we touch the knee with the left hand as we lift up and twist as if our elbow is going to touch that knee. We come back down. I think 4 is enough. Then we do the other side. So you lift up the head and go towards the knee. So you just reach down and touch that knee when it gets close enough. And then when it gets too far away, you just put your hand down. And we just let everything go and just lie and relax. And just notice how your back feels, how your body feels on the floor now. Listening to the breath. Feeling supported by the floor and the earth.
Okay, checking that the tongue and the jaw and the face is relaxed. Touch in with our hands and our feet and our heart. Tune in to our connection with our planet, a wonderful planet, a beautiful planet. Make a special wish to take care of our planet, all the creatures, all the trees, lakes, streams, oceans. Feeling the warmth and nourishing nature of the sun. The clean air we can breathe when we can. And just feeling gratitude for this wonderful planet and the elements, the fire, the air, the water, earth, and space that all nourish us. The wonderful space that nourishes our heart and our mind. And let ourselves feel that spaciousness. Feel that groundedness, that connection with the earth, the fluid nature of the water, the lightness of the air. So as we breathe, we can feel that our coming through all our pores is the nourishment of these elements, of this planet, and all its goodness. I'm grateful for all its beauty and bounty, all the flowers and the fruits, everything we eat. I'm feeling connected to all the people on our Zoom group, all over I think they're all over the world. I'm connected to all the people that they're connected to, because they have their people, and they have their people, and they have their people, until finally we can be connected to every human being on this planet. As well as all the other beings. As we take this moment to be nourished by the gratitude we feel for our planet and our friends and our family, and we can just share that. Going out in space from our heart to the hearts of all others. With this privilege we have of this time and space to relax and feel gratitude and feel our heart. I'm wishing that for all beings. Clarity of mind to make decisions for the greater good. For the healing of the world. May all beings be healed. May all beings be nourished and cared for, and in turn care for and nourish others. May all beings be peaceful, find their inner loving nature, find their best purpose in life, what brings meaning and grace and love. Knowing that we're always connected, supported. We can always find peace and rest if we take the time to create this inner refuge, inner peace. And just get in now and see if there are any questions. But I just, this thought came, something that Lamia used to always say, that, I'm good enough. I'm good enough just as I am. I've heard of elephants going up. We don't have much insulation on this floor. It's like oh. Anyway, does anybody have any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Can wake up now.
Question.
Yeah, question.
Can't we just stay here?
Yeah, we can. We don't have to get up. Yeah, I just thought I'd better let someone ask a question. Anyway, the herd of elephants focus. I think they didn't, Jeff said they didn't want to lower the ceiling too low, so I think it's just like a floor instead of ceiling.
Yeah. We can survive.
Yeah. Yeah, so any questions?
I think the question which got asked at the beginning, which I told you answered during the teaching, so about the breath.
Yeah.
I think anyone still has a question about the breath. I think
Okay.
Otherwise, I have no questions in the chat. So if you want to unmute yourself, if you have a question, just ask it.
Hi, Ann. Hi, everybody. Oh, nice. Look at all these nice people. It's just nice to see everybody.
I think everyone is super relaxed.
Oh, it's Staples there. Hi, Tintin. Wow. People I haven't seen in years. That's so cool. Yeah, you were just a herd of elephants on top. It was great.
Oh, no, really?
I
It wasn't just me.
know. Oh, let's see. There must be more people to see. Let's see. Anyway, no, it's
I
fun.
wonder if something else can be done about it.
No, it's really fun. I'm just being silly. Yeah, great. Well, hello, everybody. I guess nobody's got anything to say. Well, at least give me, was it okay? Did you enjoy?
Ah, thank you. You can unmute yourself, then Paula hears you. Otherwise, she can't hear you if you stay muted. So you just press unmute, and then she can hear you.
No, it was great.
Oh,
Good. Helpful.
Who's outside? There's somebody outside.
Fair enough.
Hi, Paula.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Well, I have one question.
They've been progressively getting better sessions every time. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we do things better and better each time, I suppose. So I'm glad, some people only come to one. So, we just do the best we can.
Oh, thank you. It was great.
Yeah, and thank you, Dylan and Joy, and thank you, everybody. And yeah, it's just nice to see everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a question about the video.
Oh, hi. Okay. Hi, Michelle.
Yeah. Hi. So how do we access the video? Do we come back to this site on Zoom, or do you have it on
I
Zoom,
sent you a link.
YouTube, or will you put it?
The email I sent you, where the link is in for the Zoom link, there's also a link to the resource page. So please go back to this email and just click on the link to the resource page, and all the recordings are on this page.
Okay. Good.
All right. If you have a problem, just write me to spc@Land of Joy if you can't access it. Otherwise, it should be in, like, everything is explained in the email I've sent out.
Okay. Okay.
There was one question in the chat, and it said, I noticed that after the practice, my shoulder and arm trembled lots. Is this okay?
Yeah, someone else asked about the shoulder and the tremble. And I mean, to be honest, I don't really know, but I think it's okay. I mean, I could ask my friend who knows more about this. But I think if you just do it a little bit more, I would think that it's probably the body, the brain, like readjusting to that movement again. But if you do it a few more times, if it doesn't stop after a few more times, then I think maybe don't do it. But my sense is it's just that the energy is getting re-energized, as long as it's not an intense pain. That makes sense. And the other thing I wanted to say too is I forgot to mention that I learned this from a woman named Eleanor Criswell, and she was married. She's the widow of Thomas Hanna, the man who developed these exercises, and they're both very well respected humanist psychologists in their field. And now she does this work with dogs and horses too. With horses, she does it with horses. Yeah.
How do they follow her instructions?
What?
How do they follow her instructions?
I think they move the animals themselves. They do the movement on the animal. And it helps like injured animals. It also seems to give a better connection between the horse owner and the horse too. And so the riding becomes, especially if horses have been injured, but even if they haven't, it seems to give a better ride, and a better relationship between the rider and the horse. And I think it's called Hanna Somatics for horses. I mean, I think she lives in California, and so I think she just does it in California. I mean, I don't know if you could like learn from her and do it on a horse in Denmark per se, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But I mean, you can Google her. Her name is Eleanor Criswell, and it's called Hanna Somatics, and there's a website for that. Yeah. So yeah.
Like I've got an ankle injury from a long time ago that's just a bit more stiff, and
yeah,
over time you think should be able to heal it a bit more.
I think so. That's what this is said to do. I mean, I've just noticed it's helped my whole body. But with an injury, the idea is that over time the injury heals. It takes some time, but what it does is that it starts you
moving it differently, because a lot of times once we've had an injury, we tend to move in a certain way, or it's stiff in a certain way. So the fact that it might be shaking or the shoulder might be moving, I don't think it's a bad thing. But if it doesn't improve, then maybe stop, but at least keep trying it for a while, and maybe do it slower, something like that. So but we do have to be careful with our shoulders. Yes.
No, it's an ankle that I sprained a long time ago, and then it was fine. You know, I didn't really get attention from it, but it's only just you know, the last 10 years it started getting a bit weak and failing a bit, and it just sort of gets quite a lot of tension. But
yeah, well, you know what's good is you can just make circles with your foot. Do you know what I mean? It's something actually I learned from Michelle, is you just take your foot around and around, like your toes around in a circle, to the right and to the left, so it'll strengthen and loosen that ankle joint. I think that'd be a really good thing to do. Yeah.
Sure.
Do you understand what I mean? Like
I do.
make circles with your toes. You know. Did you get that, Tenzin?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would try doing that, like, you know, 10 times each direction, a couple times a day, and then forward and back, like bring the toes back and then point the toes, you know, and just get some movement in it, and also massage arnica cream into it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? We had one more question.
There's a question in chat. The question said, it was perfect. I have a question. What is the best time in the day to do these exercises, or is any time is good?
I think any time's good. I think some people, like one of the teachers that was at the, it was like a week-long retreat I did. And we did it all day long, you know, to learn it and to learn to teach it. And they said, one of the women, she did it in bed before she got out of bed. So I suppose you can do it in bed. I don't think it matters when you do it. You know, I think you can do it any time of day. I would think that especially if you have a desk job and you sit at a desk all day, it'd be really nice to do it when you got home from work, it seems to me. Or nobody goes to work anymore. But when you walk away from your desk, you know, or even in the middle of the day, you know, something like that. Yeah, but there's one more question here with Linda. Linda, you had a question?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Am I muted?
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed yesterday that my mind was very, not tired, but just very spacious. It felt very nice to have a mind that was relaxed for a wee while. But then last night, the dreams were, I wouldn't say old trauma, but they were not very nice dreams. So my question is, I'm guessing it affects the mind and the body together. So is this normal to have maybe dreams from way, way back come up? And
yeah, that's part of the healing process, isn't it? To have it come out in a dream. So I would say that's a sign of success, that it's working.
Did anyone else have that experience?
Anyone else have any interesting dreams last night?
Me too, Linda. I also had really, really strong dreams. Same thing. And I really felt like it rested. I just said to Jenny, I think it's because when you really start to rest and then things allowed to come up and you can really sort them out, or you sort them out in the dream.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, well, what I really like about this work is, you know, you don't really need to go to a therapist. It's your body heals itself. You know, the body has the capacity to heal itself. And what these exercises do is they give it that space. You know, you unwind enough to do that. And also what's really helpful is it's basically, it's like we have a hard drive or something. That's our natural way of being, but our software is all, you know, contorted from all of our traumas of our life. And so it's sort of like letting that software go so we can go back to our hardwired, you know, open sense of being, you know. And that's what's nice about these exercises, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
To voice that and share that it was kind of weird, but it was kind of good, I think.
Oh yeah, sure. Anytime. I mean, it's like in retreat, you have dreams like that too, you know. So I think it's just a way of your mind and body healing itself.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so if you have no further questions, then we see you again at 3 o'clock British summertime.
Yeah. Yeah.